More. Governor Jindal's Hurricane Katrina anecdote that likely did not happen. Only one apparent misstep in last night's Republican response. Remember his claim that volcano monitoring programs are wasteful government spending? The U.S. Geological Survey saying that an active volcano in Alaska, the Redoubt volcano, which last erupted in 1989, has been threatening to erupt since late January. Scientists can't pinpoint exactly when it's going to blow because a GPS network has not been put in place there due to lack of funds. In 1980, the eruption of Mount St. Helens in the shadow of Portland, Oregon, killed 57 Americans. It darkened the sky for months. The economic substance of Governor Jindal's plan to fix the economy, meanwhile, the same old Republican song and dance about tax cuts and more tax cuts and more tax cuts after that. Let's turn now to Nobel Prize-winning economist Paul Krugman, also, of course, columnist for the New York Times and an economics professor at Princeton. Dr. Krugman, good evening.
Good evening.
All right, to the Republican response last night, its absolute best argument that what he is doing, what Obama is doing, is wrong and they can do better. What did you take away from that?
I don't think there was much of an argument there. I mean, it really has, you know, I said it was Beavis and Butthead. They find things that sound silly if you don't actually know anything. So volcano monitoring, why would you want to monitor a volcano? Because it might erupt and kill a lot of people. But they're basically reduced to just picking out a few things, or in some cases just making stuff up. You know, the salt marsh mouse thing on the stimulus, and saying this is stupid, see, government is stupid, cut taxes. It's not much of an argument.
And the train, he brought in the big train last night, the magnetic levitation train that's running from Disneyland to some casino on the Strip in Vegas. That's another one that isn't based in reality, correct? Yeah,
that's right. There's $8 billion in the stimulus for high-speed rail transit. One of the things that somebody somewhere once talked about, but is not in the bill, was high-speed trains from L.A. to Las Vegas, which is not actually stupid. Actually, that's a pretty busy corridor. But anyway, it's not in the bill. And you know, he talks about magnetic levitation because I guess he or his speechwriter thought that sounded funny, except it's high tech. It's something that the United States is going to want to use eventually. We're actually kind of falling behind other countries on that technology.
And he did not mention that one of those other train corridors under consideration would run right through John Boehner's district in Ohio, by the way. But to TARP and the president last night, he said it's going to be administered differently going forward. Does that mean, is that code for nationalization of the banks eventually, sooner or later?
Not if you listen to what Ben Bernanke said in his congressional testimony, not if you looked at the interview that Tim Geithner, the Treasury Secretary, just did. I've got a bad feeling about this, as do a number of people. I was just reading testimony from Adam Posen, who's our leading expert on Japan. He says, you know, we're moving right in the track of the Japanese during the 1990s, propping up zombie banks, just not doing resolution. I was very happy with the president's speech. The actual implementation on financial policy looks like a kind of failure of nerve.
Are you seeing a coordinated strategy in this on how to handle the economic crisis? Is there a grand plan at this point?
No, I mean, there's good stuff. The stimulus is good. It should be bigger, but it's good. On the banks, I really can't see. There really seems to be, we're going to put in some more money. We're going to, you know, say stern things to the bankers about how they should behave better. But if there's a strategy there, it's continuing to be a mystery to me and to everybody I talk to.
Of all the mysteries of economics to us laymen, the idea that confidence is actually a tangible thing, that it is important for a president to, in fact, talk the economy up to the people who make the economy happen. Is it true? Is it measurable? And did he do it last night?
Well, you know, we can ask people. There are confidence indices which are supposed to measure it. And look, it matters, but, you know, it can't be created out of thin air. It is true that if you can have good fundamentals, you can actually have a good plan, but if you do a lousy job of selling it, panic can destroy it. This is why FDR, with his, you know, fear itself speech mattered, because he actually had a plan to get the banks, bank holiday, all that, but he also needed to calm people down, which he did. But confidence by itself won't rescue you if you haven't got the fundamentals straight. If you really have banks that are deeply underwater and you don't have an effective plan to fix them, then conference is not enough. So that was a very encouraging speech. It sounded like a president who knows what he's talking about, but we need some more substance on the actual plans.
And the premise of, as it has been the premise for presidents since at least Lincoln saw the Civil War as an opportunity to restructure the nation in some finer form. The idea of restructuring the economy in finer form, is it indeed an opportunity?
Oh, sure. I think in some ways, some of the things, people were saying, oh, we're never going to get health care reform given the trouble in the economy. Actually, the troubles in the economy highlight the need for a guarantee of health care for every American. And that was the really good news today, by the way. It appears that Obama really is going to put substantial funds behind universal health care. So this is good. The
Nobel Prize-winning economist Paul Krugman, as always, a little bit of education. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Another